students. Today I will discuss about sexual reproduction. This point is the part of your reproduction in organism. Sexual reproduction. What is sexual reproduction? Sexual reproduction involves formation of the male and female gametes either by the same individuals or by the different individuals of the opposite sex. These gametes fuse to form the zygote, which develops to form the new organism. It is an elaborate, complex, and slow process as compared to asexual reproduction. As you all know, sexual reproduction is characterized by the fusion of male-female gametes. When compared to asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction is considered as better mode as there is a variation in population along with the evolution of species. Genetically speaking, sexual reproduction involves both the processes of mitosis and meiosis. Both processes occur in sexual reproduction. And next, some things unique that is observed is that even though plants, animals, fungi are quite different from each other in aspects such as morphology, physiology, anatomy, etc. All these organisms display sexual reproduction. The whole process also is quite elaborate and complex, involving many stages. Let us learn more about the sexual reproduction in a plant and animals. These the facts which are about sexual reproduction. What I am saying to you, sexual reproduction in the plant. Which plant body is involved in the sexual reproduction, such as the angiospermic plants, flowering plants. This flowering plants have flower, have the flower. Flower are two parts. This is male parts, male, and this is female parts, female. And the male parts, female parts, you some is not clear. So male parts, I want to make a slide picture. This is filaments and anther. This anther is develop. This anther is developed. Pollen grain, and this was जो है male gametophyte. This one, and you can see the female parts, gynoecium, female parts, a gynoecium, a stigma. This is a stigma, a style, and this portion is ovary. And you can see the female gametophyte is a female gametophyte fertilized by the male gametophyte, which grow on stigma and come to contact of the ovules, female gametophyte, ovule. Then it was fertilized. It was fertilized and grow into a seed, then seedling. This is the result of the sexual reproduction in case of plant. In case of plant, the description is here. If these are the points for the descriptions of the a flower. Sexual reproduction in animals, you can see in animals there are different stages that animals includes the human, other dwellings phase and phase of growth development. Its animals reaches maturity which reproduce sexually. Then animals get a maturity for the sexual reproduction. In animals, as reproduction which covers the sexual reproduction, animal is cow, dog, deer, sheep, etc. It is called Ashtas cycles. And mammals like human, apes, monkey, it is called menstrual cycle. Old stage of signifies the end of the reproduction phase. Then stage of sexual reproductions. There are three distinct events occurs here which can be categorized: pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. Three stages occurs: pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization. What is the pre-fertilization stage? This is the stage which occurs prior to fertilization. The two events that occurs at this stage: gametogenesis and transfer of gametes. In the gametogenesis, the gametes, male and females, are formed. Gametes are haploid cells, are distinct in male and females. Understood? The male gametes are called sperms and female gametes are called ova, eggs. And these female gametes are not motile while the male gametes are motile. Transfer of gametes occur when the male gametes gets transfer, after which fertilization occurs. After the fertilization, the process where male and female gametes meet together. Next, fertilization process. Fertilization, the fusion of gametes, is the most crucial step in the process of sexual reproduction. It is very crucial stage. Fertilization is the crucial stage. This fusion of male and female gametes is called fertilization. Yes, in gamete, male and female fused together or syngamy is called a fertilization. As a result of this fertilization, a diploid zygote is formed. Fertilization can be external or internal. Some animals externally fertilize and some internally. Some exceptions to this fertilization process are some lizard, turkey, honeybees, where the female gametes undergoes development without the fertilization and forms a new organism. And some exception is also present in the world. As results, turkeys and honeybees, they have not need to undergo a fertilization. Female gametes are directly forms the new organisms. The name of such phenomena is parthenogenesis. The name of such phenomena. Which phenomena? Without fertilization, female gametes undergoes development without fertilization and forms a new organism is known as parthenogenesis. Next, post-fertilization. The third stage is what is the post-fertilization stage? All the events occurs after formation of zygote are called post-fertilization events. The zygote divided through mitosis develop into embryo, and development of the embryo from zygote is called embryogenesis. And cell differentiation also occurs at this stage, where specialized tissues and organs are formed. Depending on where the zygote develop, animals are classified viviparous, oviparous animals, and the oviparous animals developed takes place outside the body, and examples are reptiles was when the fertilized egg are laid in a safe place. After a period of incubation, they hatch into young ones. The viviparous animals, such as human beings, developed occurs inside the body after some specific gestation period. Young ones are born. Now I am going to say about types of sexual reproduction. Two major types of sexual reproduction: syngamy and conjugation. Syngamy refer to fusion haploid sex resulting in the formation of diploid zygote. Thus, since refer to fertilization, it is the most common type of reproduction in multicellular sexual population, including human. In human being, the syngamy type of sexual reproduction are performed. And the conjugation, second type, conjugation. Conjugation is a different syngamy, such as two organisms come together to temporary fusion. It means they form cytoplasmic bridge to exchange micronucleus material through the cytoplasmic bridge or tube. This can be observed among single-cell organisms such as bacteria, protozoans, and single-cell fungi. And while syngamy is the permanent fusion of two cells, conjugation is the temporary fusion of two cells. These are the difference between conjugation and syngamy. Sexual reproduction is single-cell organism. How sexual reproduction performed in single-cell organism? In single-cell organisms such as bacteria, sexual reproduction is done by the conjugation. When two bacterial cells join together transparently to form genetically material via plasmid donors and recipients, the plasmids may either be solitary part of the chromosomes. Bacteria conjugation is the essential to bacteria. It is to be they can acquire a gene which may be beneficial for the survival. The acquired gene might be a novel characteristic that enable to recipient cells to thrive in a rather harmful condition, or it may be a gene enabling the recipient to utilize a new metabolite. It is also through this process the resistance to antibiotics can be transferred from one bacterial cell to the other. Protozoans conjugation is also the process whereby two protozoa ciliates some come together and temporary fusion exchange micronuclear material. They separate each other being fertilized cells, and these also basically occurs in the single cell organism. These are the description about single cell sexual reproduction, how it performs. In certain algae fungi, male gametes unites to female gametes, resulting in the union and nuclei and subsequent formation of the zygotes. As virus, in the case of virus, you can see how can it maybe. As for virus, some references suggested that they are capable of sexual reproduction. There have been evidence of genetic recombination. Different individual viruses, such as interchange of genes, was linked to crossing over between homologous chromosomes during meiosis. Higher life forms and nonetheless, the idea virus reproduce sexually is still contested to the day. Some would not even consider viruses as a life forms. These are the conditions. Sexual reproduction in a single-celled organism that was performed, and now I want to say different types of syngamy. Syngamy, just I want to say about syngamy. Types of syngamy based on the site of fertilization. Internal fertilization. Internal fertilization, when air in egg and fertilization sperms outside body one of the parent. Usually external syngamy occurs outside the parent body. Types of syngamy, sources of gametes. And autogamy is called self-fertilization, and two gametes come one to one parent, and this form syngamy is uniparental, and their parent is described as hermaphrodite possessing two functional sex organs. This tinea, an example, hermaphrodite. Tinea, earthworm, all. Allogamy. What is allogamy? As called cross fertilization, and two gametes parent, and the syngamy parent biparental, and this is the more common form syngamy and endogamy. The types of syngamy, structure gametes. Isogamy, on the structure basis of structures, syngamy are two types. Isogamy, gametes male and females are morphologically physically alike. Monocyst, it is algae. And anisogamy, gametes male and females morphologically different. It common isogamy, male gametes relatively smaller than the male gametes, and they referred as microgametes and macrogametes respectively. Hologamy, next, when gametes are similar to somatic cells in terms of size, shape, in the yeast. The hologamy. Plant syngamy. Now plant syngamy. How plant performs such action. The plants have a life cycle comprised two generation, gametophytes and gametes generation. Sexual plants life cycle, and started haploid spores undergo mitosis, rise to haploid gametes and bear sex organs, and the sex organs turn produce gametes that will participate later in fertilization. The union male and female gametes gives rise to a diploid zygote, then later develops into sporophytes. Sporophytes generation is phase. Plant life cycle starts off the zygotes up to time spores produce, and sporophyte produce spores within sporangium and meiosis, and this is the trichophytes. Trichophytes, vascular plants, and sporophyte is the dominant forms of the plant, is the multicellular forms. In contrast, dominant forms of the bryophytes such as mosses and liverworts is the gametophyte. In the liverworts or moss or bryophytes, dominant phase is gametophytes, and other trichophytes where vascular plants have dominant phases sporophytes. The plant sex organs is flower. The plants bears both male and female reproductive organs is monoecious, male and female, bears, and conversely, the plants that bears only one types of reproduction is called dioecious. In the flowering plants, the male reproductive organs is still pistil, whereas the male reproductive organs is anther. Pistil contains ovary, which turn contain ovules. Inside the ovules are egg cells, and the anther bears pollen grains. Inside the pollen grain are the sperm cells. These are the points which I have discussed before of it in the figure diagram. So please see the diagram. You have clear all the points. Would be clear all the points. The sperm cells is the pollen have two ovules, such facilitated by pollination. And there is two types of pollination: self-pollination, cross-pollination. Self-pollination occurs monoecious flowers, since male and female organs are present in single cells. Cross-pollination, the transfer of the male flowers to female. The transfer of may be facilitated by wind by the insect based on the mode of pollination. The types of sexual reproduction in the plants are autogamy, self-fertilization, allogamy, a cross-fertilization. Allogamy is the more common types of reproduction among the higher plants. For pollination to occur, the pollen sticks to stigma, and pistils grow due through styles pistils to reach the carpels containing ovules. Fertilize occurs when a sperm fertilizes the eggs, whereas another sperm fertilizes endosperm's nuclei, and such zygote developed, whereas the endosperm will be deprived from triploid forms and union sperm cells, two female cells. The zygote develops into embryo, whereas the endosperm develop into nutritive tissue and surrounding them within the seeds. Means at the ultimately result is the after the fertilization, flowering plants produce the seed. So today I close my lecture here about the sexual reproduction in higher plants, lower plants, and organisms. I think all the points which included in this sections I have discussed, I have cleared you, and such points which are not clearing to the students, please query your doubts on my YouTube channels. Thanks.